just finished. I pushed myself. I really did push myself to watch this TV show. It's on Netflix called The Gentleman. So this is from Guy Ritchie created it. Did the first 2 episodes that weren't too bad, and kind of went downhill very quickly thereafter. By the time I got to the last episode, I fell asleep twice while watching it, and I just couldn't be bothered to finish it. Right? It was I found somewhat turgid. So the Gentleman, if you do not know, shares the name with another Guy Ritchie film, which has a movie, which has a similar basic premise. But basically, it was Guy Ritchie trying to go back to his roots of doing London gangsters with a new spin. So then that version, The Gentleman, again, you had lots of dodgy characters, kind of well played and well written. Hugh Grant was in it. He was really good. But a lot of people in it were very good. But it's about the underworld, drugs, growing weed with the gentry, right? In the gentry's houses, and yeah, kind of an interesting idea. So it's an intersection of the gentry, royalty to a great extent. London, not London. Yeah, I would say British and London gangsters and weed with somewhat outrageous plots, right? So that's essentially what it's about. So it starts off. You have the guy in the front who is some military person, and then he gets called home. His father's died. His father's the Duke. He's been doing something good and noble, but his father's a Duke who's just died, right? So he finds out that his father's involved with the Glass family, which is as represented by the woman in red behind him, and they grow tons and tons of weed underneath their estate, and they get like $5 million a year for it, right? So he gets drawn into this criminal underworld world, and much like I like Snatch, I like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. The Gentleman, a lot of people like. For me, it's definitely the weakest of the Guy Ritchie crime movies, even though it's got a lot of good bits. I just don't think it gels together well. And this is it. This is just a lot of like sly talking, with like cool London gangstery stuff thrown into it, but just a lot of sly, like being clever, right? And say, oh, we're going to do this and this. Do you remember that? If you ever seen the South Park episodes where they do the election about how it's really like this big con game? It's kind of like that, right? It's kind of like that. So anyway, he gets dragged in because his brother, who's wearing a chicken costume, has fucked up somehow and owes a ton of money, and so they got to get millions and millions of pounds, and that's how he gets embroiled into this world. You have what's his name, who's in a bunch of Guy Ritchie movies. What's the guy's name again? He's in the picture, right? One second. The Gentleman. No, not the 29th team movie. How about Gentleman TV show? We'll do a Gentleman TV show. TV show. Where is it? It's Vinnie Jones, right? Vinnie Jones is in it as like this rough and like this ex-gangster sort of thing who works for the gentry now, works for the Duke, and is there to dispense advice. And he's just not very good at acting. I hate to tell you. It was okay when he was a bit younger. And being flat was okay. I think probably Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was the best he ever got. I think when he was in Snatch, he was beyond his acting abilities. And I think he didn't get the roles in Gladiator that he wanted because he's not a good enough actor, as demonstrated by this. You have like shenanigans about them growing the weed underneath their estate, and you have these different like obstacles of the week they got to get through. These are only an 8-part show. The first two parts, I think, were written and directed by Guy Ritchie, and those two work the best. You got the guy from Breaking Bad. What's his name again? Hang on, look it up. As a villain. Where is it? I'm looking at the cast list right now. Where is he? Giancarlo Esposito, who I, generally speaking, like. Like, I thought he worked really well as a Star Wars villain, right? That in The Mandalorian, I thought that was really, really great. But basically, it's all about the interplay between Eddie, the main guy, who's been inherited the family, and Susie Glass, played by Kaya Scondelero, right? And so you've got like a lot. There's a lot of mockney going on, right? High-pitched mockney. You're only paying attention because she's pretty. Essentially, yes, she is eye candy, right? And it's like maneuvering in the criminal world, and occasionally you have these like hyper-violent gangsters thrown into it. Again, I got the first episode wasn't bad, but I got to the end and I couldn't care less, right? I couldn't care less enough to finish watching it, right? That's how much I couldn't care less. Now, my name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.